We both stared into the abyss. The only difference between you and me was you blinked. Okay, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is I'm supposed to say.
Good night.
Yeah, good night. No, it's just fun.
Really?
It's fine.
Okay.
Welcome to the third episode of Deeper Than You Thought, the psychology, philosophy podcast with That Is You, Austin, Mikey Murray. Before we get into today's topic, Mikey, how you doing?
Good, man.
How's your past week?
It's been good. I got home from a trip and went to the beach a bit, hung out with my family, getting ready to teach. So, excited.
What are you going to teach again?
Philosophy.
Philosophy.
Yeah.
I like that we're staying on theme.
Yep. Yes,
staying on brand. Get your students to follow our podcast.
I will, dude, for sure.
Tap them in. I've been good. Same with him. I've just been doing a lot of work stuff, but I ended on Thursday. I'm going back to school in like 2 weeks, so Aztecs, see you guys soon. Looking forward to it. But I think that's already. Oh, actually, I watched Spider-Man. That was a great movie. 10 out of 10. I'm going to talk about it today in the episode because we're talking about superheroes and why they matter and why the concept of having heroes and having people to look up to is deeper than you think it is. So, you want to get started?
Yeah, on heroes?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did a little bit of research on kind of like the history of where the word comes from. And the word originates meaning to safeguard. So it's to protect or to safeguard something that a society holds as good or sacred. And originally in more ancient Greek societies, it originates like in the theater where myth comes from. So in the theater, you usually have protagonist, you have an antagonist. So you have a hero, you have someone who's going to redeem the story, and then you have someone who is kind of like a bacteria, a disease, someone that's collapsing the unity of that story.
Yeah.
And so heroes were usually heralded in that time as those who could engage in some sort of a military victory. Not necessarily like a small scale hero, like someone can be a hero if they like save their friend from a burning fire. It's more like you have to have this wide scale military victory. You usually have to be like strong, magnanimous. You have to be full of honor, etc. So that's how it starts, at least. Do you want me to move on to like?
Well, I like how you said. I like how you said myth.
Yeah.
Because myth comes from the Greek word mythos, which means like word, or more importantly, story.
Yeah.
But I think heroes come from that story, which goes back to what you were saying about theater.
Yeah.
Like these stories that people create for us to indulge in have I think they have two main purposes. First of all is to explain the world around you, and second of all to bring comfort. So I think to explore the world around you, it's to to show these deeper themes of life of like good and evil, or responsibility, or hope, or justice, or even on the back the other side of that, it's like malice, people doing bad things for no reason, and just to show you like the reality around you in a contained story where you have complete control. And then second thing is it brings comfort to you, because naturally they should be entertaining and they should be an escape into a different world, to where like that's why people watch movies.
Yeah.
To escape the world around them and to see and put them in this new world where they can like just have fun with it and be comforted in it. So I feel like that speaks to even more what you're talking about with the antagonist, protagonist, all that stuff within stories. But you can go on.
Well, why do you think that myth or stories? Do you think that myth and stories can communicate something to people that, say, like a treatise or something you read?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think they can communicate something different? A story can communicate something different than like
teaching stuff?
Yeah, like a textbook or something. And like, why? Like, what is it about a story though?
I think because in the stories you create emotional connection. And I think through emotional connection and like seeing yourself in a person, you become more, what's the word? Attached, more like invested. And if you're more invested, you become more capable of learning and like keeping it for your own. That's why I think. Yeah, I know a lot of like my moral compass comes from like superheroes, like comes from like Spider-Man and Superman and Batman. That's just like that's like my I'm born in the pants. Like, that's my big thing. I love all that stuff. And like I think back to like we were both raised in like a similar like environment of like we know what's right and wrong. But I think like whenever I look back on like why I am who I am, like what I hold that to, a lot of it comes from like my upbringing and like being raised in like a Catholic environment, but also like a lot of it comes from being raised up watching superheroes.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm
100%.
so invested in those characters that I look up to them a lot, even though they aren't real.
Yeah.
And I want to be like them, even though they aren't real people. But the values and morals that they stand for are real.
Yeah.
And that's why they exist.
Yeah. And there's something about, so every single culture has transmitted what that culture sees as most important. In other words, what the culture sees as wise through stories.
Yeah.
So stories contain some sort of gold that say, like, for example, if we're looking at moral principles, I can say, all right, here's what prudence is. And we strictly go through it in a logical and philosophical way. But then I show you a story of a man in going through time, saving people who is acting prudently. You learn in two distinct ways.
Yeah.
And a lot of cognitive psychologists, like, for example, there's a book by Daniel Kahneman called Thinking Slow and Thinking Fast, or Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. And he distinguishes two different systems of your mind, which is basically like system one, which is the unconscious, intuitive part of your mind, which can absorb and apprehend information without you making explicit reference to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's system two, which is like that expressive, explicit, logical, analytic content. So when we engage in like, here's the moral principles, we're usually abstracting and we're deriving them, but we're taking them from a greater whole, which is the narrative. And I think narratives, if I can get into this, I think narratives do three distinct things for you. But the first thing is we have to like define what a hero is. Yeah. And I think it's usually a hero is someone who engages in voluntary self-sacrifice for the sake of preserving or safeguarding a common good or something that is loved by the society. So you think of Spider-Man, you think of Superman, you think of Batman. All of these dudes are participating in this like archetype, which is to sacrifice their lives for the sake of saving a society, for the sake of preserving goods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The second thing is that superheroes or heroes provide a template for the pinnacle of moral action.
Yeah.
So they kind of, they're able to, by their action, create a great amount of detail in the background of most people's consciousness. Like most people know what is going on in stories and what's happening with superheroes. Like they understand that when they die for something, it's like very like morally upright and like you want to be like that in an interesting way. Yeah. So that's the second thing.
Yeah, I saw it too. Where I think I think a lot innately superheroes have a self-sacrificial nature 100%. To them. And I think that also something that attracts us because I think also innately human beings we want to be self-sacrificial.
Yeah.
Like I think that's like our end goal.
Yeah, dude. Think about Endgame.
Yeah, exactly.
Endgame is like everyone is like moved.
Yeah.
When they watch. I mean, if anyone has spoilers, but Dark Knight Rises too.
It's at the end. I can't like 12 years ago. It's not a spoiler.
It's different, but like still self-sacrifice. Because dude, I was talking. People have not seen movies, brother.
No, I agree, but still, it's been
that's
12
true.
years.
So like it gives me warrant.
It's been 14 years. It gives me warrant.
Yeah. But like so everyone is like moved usually like tears.
Yeah.
Or like a deep like emotional effectivity of like, wow, that was really meaningful.
It's crazy.
So yeah, I think they set a moral ideal.
And those effects last on for years. Like it's been 7 years. Damn. It's been 7 years since Endgame. But it's been 7 years since Endgame and people still talk about Iron Man. Like, of course. Like he's like, because the MCU changed like the course of history.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely believe that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's great. It's crazy.
Insane.
But yeah, all these characters and what they've done like lives in our mind as a template for something.
Yep.
And I think that they provide an ideal, a moral ideal.
Yeah. I know, because I the reason I believe that we create heroes is because like we create them, we envision them in our mind, because every hero we have is man-made. Nothing comes from above, nothing comes from below. It's we made ourselves. We made them to have an ideal, to strive for, a standard to keep, and to make us feel good about trying to be like that.
I would say inspire us.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Well, you said feel good because, like, I think sometimes we can realize we're below the mark.
No. I know, but I mean, like, feel good as in like you don't like to make you not feel bad for wanting to be a good person.
Yeah, inspire you.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that
Because
makes sense.
I feel like it's so easy to like. I feel like it's so easy to view being evil or doing bad things as the easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like stealing is easy. Being mean is easy.
Yeah.
It's harder to like work to get money and have to buy the thing. It's harder to like when everyone's bullying a kid. It's harder to stand up for them than like than to tag onto it. But when you see these heroes, these pinnacles of like heroism and goodness, doing the things that you don't want to do, or sorry, that you want to do, but you feel like you can't. You see them doing it. It makes it easier for you to want to be a good person.
Yeah.
When they're so good and they're so popular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for sure. And then, yeah, the last thing I was going to say is like the fact that they do both of those first two things, namely like to be what a hero is, and then to be an ideal, presupposes something about the way they actually think about the world and the way they see the world. And I think what it says is they think about the world and those around them as far more important than their individual ego, because they see that it's those people are worth dying for. In other words, they have a reverence and they understand the sacrality of human life.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't understand the sacrality of human life, they wouldn't die for everyone. And this is where the villain is the inversion.
Yeah.
So the villain doesn't act for the common good. The villain acts for the private good. So
Like
the
themselves?
ego, the ego above society. It's my ego above everything else.
Yeah.
And think of the Joker. It was a perfect example. The second is they don't set a moral ideal. They set like the inversion of
Some
it.
villains.
Yeah, they set the inversion of it, because it's like what is a hero filled with? Filled with like joy, with hope, with love. What is a villain? What is a villain filled with? Like resentment, bitterness, trauma, envy, being a victim to their circumstance, apathy, desire to uproot everything for the sake of what?
Yeah.
No end. It's meaningless.
Yeah.
And so that they set that, and then the third thing is that villains try to topple the common good for the sake of the private good, I guess.
I've heard this thing, or I thought this thing, where it's villains try to fix the world, heroes try to help the world.
Yeah.
That's like the primary difference. I feel like villains, they see themselves. It could be like they have power, they have a good intellect, they have super strength, whatever it is, and they try using this to like to say, I'm gonna fix the world and make it and fix the problems that I see are there, and make the world in my image to what their idea of what good is.
Yeah.
Whereas what heroes do is they say, okay, like I'm most of the time they say I'm just a man who has these gifts.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm supposed to serve everyone around me.
Right.
But still, I'm no better than them.
Right.
So who am I to fix anything at all? I just want to help. Which I think leads into a good discussion about power and what power is and what power does. Because there's a quote from John Dalberg Action, who's a politician, who says, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power tends to corrupt. An absolute power corrupts absolutely," which I think isn't true.
Okay.
I think power just reveals what's already inside you.
Okay.
I don't think I think power reveals more of who you actually are, but it doesn't automatically make you evil, because then why wouldn't every superhero be evil? And there's a great allegory for this. There's a great allegory for this in Captain America, like the first Captain America one, the super soldier serum. Like the whole thing about that is supposed to make you a perfect soldier. It's supposed to give you immense power. But when you see it's given to Steve Rogers, and then it's given to Red Skull. One becomes Captain America, one becomes Red Skull, he looks like a demon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And in the movie they say the same thing. It says all the same does reveal who you actually are. So Steve Rogers was a great man, and he became an even greater man, a hero to everyone. And Red Skull, he wanted it for evil purposes, to try to enslave everyone, because he was a Nazi, and he became a demon.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks to the nature of power. Of you having power is a responsibility, and what you do with that power shows who you actually are.
Okay, but there's different senses of power, right?
Yeah.
So I think the first sense of power is a very simple way, which is just your ability to, because power comes from the word potentia, which just means potential. So you have a power to move the glass or pick up the cup.
Yeah.
So power in the first sense is what you're capable of actually doing by changing the world. But then there's another sense, which we usually mean power is an effect of something. So power is an effect of like my authority over the world. And I think that's the second sense that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a president has power over the United States. So like a president can enact change in a way that other people can't, but because they have a specific status. And I think there's something to be said about power corrupting, though. I think throughout history you see, like, because what does power do, right? Before you have the second sense of power, you're existing as a normal human being in a simple way throughout life. And also, you're not loaded with a bunch of anxiety. Because like I said in an earlier episode, anxiety is the absorption of a bunch of details in your mind, like too many details.
Yeah.
The second sense, though, when you get more power, people bow to you in in a symbolic sense. People kneel to you. People look up to you. So you're filled with this praise and adulation. Like, you know what it's like to be praised. How does it feel?
It's
freaking awesome.
It great.
Now imagine being praised by 1 million people.
I know. It'd be insane. Your ego would be insane.
Dude, you're breathing it in.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
And so you actually start to think that you have a godlike status. This is why a lot of kings throughout history get corrupted, because you feel that sense of divinity. So
I agree. I'm just saying I don't think power is necessarily a corrupter.
No, I agree.
I think it makes you easy to corrupt.
Yes.
But
easier to corrupt.
But I don't think it necessarily means that you are going to be an evil person.
I agree with that.
I feel like that's more.
I do think that the quote absolute power can bring absolute corruption.
Oh, it's true.
Is true, because I think the only person with absolute power is God.
Yeah.
And I don't think any human being is made to have absolute power.
Yeah.
There's no one except.
But what does absolute power mean? Like, I'm like omnipotence.
That's what I'm saying. Omnipotence.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Yeah, that's why I think if a human being tries to attain that, they're in the wrong role.
Yeah.
And actually, this goes into a good segue of, like, I think that you start to see that the reason superheroes and villains are very attractive to us is because there's like a religious structure to them.
Yeah.
I think there's actually a religious structure. Like, I'm thinking of Superman right now. How does it start? There's usually some sort of a catastrophe, some sort of illness, some sort of antagonism, some villain that is wreaking havoc upon society, right? So that's like original sin. That's like the original seed of sin.
Yeah.
And then there's a hero who comes in usually garbed in humble form, someone who can't be recognized by most, right? But they have immense power. They have immense power to save the world. And once they start going on their ministry, once they start saving the world, they have disciples. So they have people who actually follow them and want to praise them and lift them up. And then they have haters, like the Pharisees.
Yeah.
They have like people who are, you're not this, like, leave our world. We kind of want the villain to win.
Yeah.
And then you usually have self-sacrifice for the sake of saving the world.
Yeah.
So you have a self-sacrifice, which usually puts to rest the villain, but nonetheless still leaves the residue of what that villain changed on that earth.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what you see in the Christian story. And I think once you see that structure, you start to see it as a parent in pretty much all superheroes.
Yeah.
Whether or not they die in self-sacrifice is different, but they're still dying to self.
That's the important thing. I agree. Because I know I was watching when doing research for this video. I forgot where it was in his catalog of books, but Friedrich Nietzsche was talking about how in a world in a non-Christ-like in a non-Christ-centered world, man will naturally create their own kinds of I don't want to say gods, but
in some sense a projection.
Yeah, a projection of high moral standard. And I feel like in modern day times it's become superheroes.
Yeah.
Like that's like they've become our moral standard.
Yeah.
Because I feel like nowadays it isn't as much of a Christ-centered world.
Yeah.
So naturally those morals are still in our minds and in our heads, and we want to project them and have someone to look forward to, look up to.
Right.
But if it's not going to be Christ, it's someone else. We made it be like Superman.
Sure.
That's where it came out of.
There's two things I want to say that. The first thing is, if you look across any religion, there's usually always some sort of figure that's a redeemer.
Yeah.
Some sort of figure that's satanic.
Yeah.
It's just cross-cultural.
Natural, yeah.
You'll see it anywhere.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the Babylonians. You see it in Buddhism. It's not. You have Buddha, who's kind of the hero. In India, you see it with Hinduism. You see it everywhere. It's cross-cultural. And then the second thing is, I think there's actually like a neurophysiological correlate to this. There's two different systems within your brain, the orbital prefrontal cortex and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. The orbital prefrontal cortex, like the default mode network, it controls kind of this self-reflective ego stuff. And there's a correlation between that part being engaged in your self-reflection and experiencing negative emotion. What does negative emotion do? It retreats you away from the world. It puts you in isolation. Think about depression. Think about any sort of anxiety, overthinking, isolation, etc. Whereas the dorsolateral is the like explore mode. So when you're in explore mode, when you're going towards some goal, some aim, you are usually filled. There's a correlation with that and positive emotion. So in proportion to the aim that you're pursuing, you will feel positive emotion. And so there's also two different systems in the brain. And two different ways we get positive emotion. There's by satiation, so it's the achievement of a goal, or it's in pursuit of the goal. And the way you conceptualize a goal is that which is up. So there's these deep up and down are deep metaphors that are entrenched, like encoded in the very neurobiology of us, which is as you go up, in other words, as you pursue a high goal, you're rewarded with more positive emotion, you're rewarded with more meaning. But as you stoop low, you're rewarded with the lack of those things. And so I think that in a psychological sense, we kind of project these things, which are the ideal standard by which we can achieve the greatest amount of meaning. And then we project, let's say like hell, like Dante's Inferno, as that which is the opposite of what is meaningful. And then we throw them into a story and we give picture to them.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
It is pretty interesting. It makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So, and I think one of the best stories to understand this is Dante's Inferno, like the Divine Comedy.
Yeah.
Is that, and one of the truths of the Divine Comedy, and this is another psychological fact, is that there's two different systems within the brain for fear. There's the involuntary fear system. So for example, let's say you're afraid of snakes and you come to me and I'm your clinician. If I show you a snake without me telling you I'm going to show you a snake, you'll be more traumatized.
Yeah.
But if I show you a snake after I told you after we've agreed we're going to see a snake, you get less traumatized. In the same way, if you choose to confront that which is, let's say, unmeaningful and hellish within you, like Dante goes down to hell, the more that you'll achieve and overcome that fear and get to heaven in a psychological sense.
Yeah. It's like you have, if you see what you fear and face it in the face, you won't be afraid of it anymore.
100%. But if you don't see it and it's involuntarily presented to you and you're not ready, you get more traumatized.
Yeah. Actually, it's crazy. There's a movie. It's called Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. Basically, in the movie, there's the Justice League, which is like Batman, Superman, The Flash, Wonder Woman, all them. And then there's a parallel world, multiverse, which is like all their evil counterparts, right? At the end of the movie, Batman's fighting his evil counterpart, Owlman, right? And they're talking about how they're different, because Batman's good, Owlman's bad. And Batman basically says like something on the lines of like, we both stared into the abyss, and we both stared into the abyss. The only difference between you and me was you blinked, and I didn't.
Oh yeah.
Which I reminded what you said, because like in the analogy, like Batman says like, I saw what was terrible and I faced it head on. I became a good man. And it scared you, and you became evil because you didn't want to fight against it.
That's awesome, dude. There's so in the third Batman, Dark Knight Rises, that's a perfect story.
Yeah.
Is after Bane like breaks his back and puts him down in the pit, he tries twice to climb out with a rope. So he's using like this, I guess you could think of the rope as like this helper. You're trying to like have a push from someone, like someone pushing you from behind. But it's only when he has to let go of that he completes the jump. But Nolan is a genius, because it sounds to us like they're saying mission is impossible. So like everyone around them, you can think of it, he's like in the pit of hell, is saying, you're not going to do it. Mission is impossible.
Yeah.
But what the word means in the original language is rise.
Oh, that's fire.
Isn't that super cool?
Yeah.
So what he's hearing is mission is impossible, but what's actually being said is rise.
I didn't know.
And so
I didn't even know. That's
I know.
crazy.
And so that's like a narrative analogy for life.
Yeah.
Is like when everyone around you is saying the mission is impossible, I don't believe in you, you're not going to complete it, you're not going to achieve it, don't set your aim that high, you don't have the capabilities.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is rise.
Yeah.
and he makes the jump.
Yeah.
And that's when he completes it. That's when he
crazy.
gets out of hell.
Yeah.
Is when he has a frame shift.
Someone when Bane's leaving like the prison.
So that's when Christian Bale's leaving the prison. Bane puts him down into the pit where he's in the pit. He's in the pit where that girl was, where Bane was. So he has to go to the place where the villain was to then come out and beat and conquer the villain, which is another. This is like, these are all ancient stories. Like St. George, the story of St. George slaying the dragon.
Yeah.
He has to go down to the abyss. Beowulf, he has to go down to hell and slay the dragon. Then he can come up and bring a prize back.
Yep.
So these are like really deep motifs that have been present in culture forever.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm saying I think that superheroes are modern mythology.
Yeah.
Like I think in like
they are.
And like
they're an extension of
old
mythology.
If you look, yeah, but I think yes, it is, but it's retooled. I think every generation has their own version of like mythology. I think modern day mythology is definitely superhero.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I feel like if you look back, if people from like 1,000 years in the future would look back on us and see these kind of people where like all these comic books of like Batman, Spider-Man, and all those movies, like I feel like they'd have to think, hey, this person is very significant.
Mm-hmm.
They probably think they might even think he's real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He at least has some semblance in reality.
Right.
It's like it's the same way we look. It's the same way we look back on like Zeus and Hermes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's interesting because that's something that Zack Snyder tackled in his DC universe. Like he literally displayed the Justice League as the modern day new gods of the old age. Like they're new here. Like he literally shows flashbacks of like Zeus, because in his universe, like Zeus and like Ares, and they're real characters. They actually existed. So like he literally portrays the old heroes of like Zeus and the Atlanteans and Amazonians and the Green Lanterns and all that stuff fighting the main villain Darkseid. And then all these years later, it's the same story of heroes fighting Darkseid, same character.
Yeah.
But now it's like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. It's crazy if you think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like what you're saying about you got to look evil in the face and be better than that. Yeah. I feel like another reason why heroes are so popular is because most of the time they have tragic backstories, and they still choose to do good anyways.
That's what I mean, right?
And I think that's relatable, because I feel like all of us have things that happen to us that are terrible.
100%.
And they just give us more hope of you can have these bad things, terrible things happen to you, and still choose to not give in to your worst or impulses and be a great person.
Yeah, dude. There's so the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's really freaking good, because I mean, dude, terrible things happen to him.
But he fell though.
Trauma. But the thing is, so in the beginning of the movie, and I think the director did this on purpose, and this is playing on up and down. In the beginning of the movie, it always shows him going up the stairs, coming home, which is the symbolism for he's choosing, admits the trauma and like the psychological disorganization to continue being good. But when he turns in the movie, there's a distinct time when he turns on the subway. It starts to show him coming down.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
I know. I noticed it.
You noticed that by yourself?
I noticed that by myself.
Wow.
And so it shows his ascent, and it's like you said, the villain and the hero might have the exact same history.
That's why it's always like, you and me, we're like,
Yeah.
But the difference is
we're the same. Yeah.
We're the same, but the difference is I chose to keep fighting the fight, and you chose to give in.
Exactly. And so like the Joker, of course, he descends because he falls to his circumstances. Yeah. And like, fair enough, dude. He's like a schizophrenic. He's got mental illness. He's got trauma. Like, he's got everything. He's in hell. Yeah. But nonetheless, in the beginning of the movie, he's choosing against it. Yeah. It's when he breaks and he gives in. He lets the trauma be the master in his own house. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I think like there are literal examples of heroes that had like damn near the exact same heroes and villains that had the exact same backstory, but one choose good and one choose bad, and they become like arch rivals. I'm trying to think of an example.
Yeah.
I can't think of one right now. I had to lock it on.
Well, I actually think the Joker and Batman had really similar stories, because Batman goes through a deep trauma when he watches his parents die, and he internalizes it as if it's his fault.
Yeah.
Whereas the Joker has terrible parents, and the Joker watches his mom and dad like hurt each other, and then they also die. Yeah. It's unclear with the Joker, but they both
his origin is never really
his origin's not really explored, but they both have the death of parents and abuse when they're young. Yeah. Obviously one's really rich and one's not, right? But yeah.
I also think it's interesting though how there are like villains are interesting to me because there are some who are like they have like a good reasoning, like it makes sense. It's kind of like sympathetic.
Oh, for
But
sure.
there also are ones where like you're pure evil. Like
Yeah.
it's like the Joker, like Green Goblin,
Yeah.
like Reverse Flash. Like these are evil men who do evil things for no reason.
Yeah.
And like they torment the hero to try to make them
Yeah.
turn too.
Yeah.
Like for my example was like the Reverse Flash and the Flash. The Reverse Flash killed his mom as a kid because he hated him so much.
Right.
He literally traveled back in time to kill Barry's mother because he hated Barry in the future.
Damn.
To try to make Barry never exist.
Yeah.
And then guess what? In the show, at least, after he killed his mom, he couldn't go back home.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to raise the Flash to be the Flash, so he could try to get back to his original timeline. The whole point I'm interesting is it's interesting because the whole reason he went back in time was to stop his enemy, but he ended up having to create his enemy due to his own hubris.
Right.
Which is like, dude,
right.
he was the almost enemy.
I think hubris is. I mean, pride comes before the fall, and
Yeah.
I think like to use a Jungian term is the archetype of the villain is Satan.
Yeah.
And what you see it, and I think the best villains are cast for the audience when they can see that at one point they were truly good.
Yeah.
Because then it
that makes it more real.
It is more real. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just more real because that's how it is in real life.
Yeah.
That's how it more is in real life. And I think like Satan, same thing. Most powerful angels, he sees a plan from God who is higher than him that he doesn't want to bow to. He doesn't want to, and like for good reason. He's an angel. He thinks like a human being should be exalted higher than him. That doesn't make any sense. But the difference is, whereas some angels accepted their uncertainty, he decided to, like, there's a line, better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. Better to be the king of his own underworld than to be a servant of someone who's above him.
Yeah.
So I think you see that in a lot of villains, and
Yeah.
I feel so much sympathy for villains because it's like the villain and the hero can look at each other, and the hero can be like, I had the same story, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
But you chose this, and I didn't.
I have a question. So what do you think about like villains that are purely evil? Like they have no redeeming qualities.
I just don't.
Like the Joker in Dark Knight.
I don't think the Joker's purely evil.
They literally say, "Some men just want to watch the world burn." Like, what do you think of that?
I don't think he started that way. I think that he got to that point. I think that nobody starts their life with, I want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Unless it may be very exceptional cases like psychopaths, which like watched murders when they were young, and they
even still,
it all happens to them.
I agree. Actually, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah,
I agree with that for sure because I feel like that's the main thing of Batman. That's the reason like why he doesn't kill the Joker. Why doesn't he kill his villain?
Yeah.
Because like he thinks
sees something.
He thinks that anyone can be redeemed.
Anyone
can, and he's more often wrong than he is right. But
yeah.
Like, the idea that there's a chance he has to get changed. Like there's a movie called Batman Hush.
Mm-hmm.
In that movie, there's this character called Hush. He ends up being the Riddler. The Riddler and Hush, whatever, has tried killing like damn near everyone that Batman cares about throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like Nightwing, Catwoman himself,
right.
Robin, and all those people. And at the end of the movie, he's about to die, but Batman saves him. And Catwoman's like, "What the hell, Bruce? Like, why would you save this guy?" And he's like, "I had to try to save him because if someone has a chance of surviving and being reformed, I have to try."
Yeah,
that's like the core of his character.
Yes,
and I like that a lot because I feel like a lot of times people are like, "Why doesn't Batman just kill a Joker?" Yada yada yada. Like, why doesn't Batman kill?
That's what the audience wants.
Yeah, why doesn't Batman kill? Why doesn't he like succumb and just do all like things like the easier or the more efficient way? But I feel like that defeats the purpose.
It does.
That defeats the purpose of Batman because he has such a care for human life because he watched it end so early.
Yeah.
From people that were so important to him that now he has like an innate desire to sustain human life.
Yes.
To a point where it becomes illogical.
Yes.
And even still, like he can be more efficient, but the reason why we love him so much is because he's not, and because it gives us an idea to strive for, like an illogical idea to strive for.
Yeah.
To protect human life.
Yeah, and I also
think is beautiful.
No, that's right, and I think the Joker, if he did, he'd play his game.
Yeah.
The Joker wants him to kill him.
Facts.
The whole thing of the Joker, the whole time, at least in the Dark Knight, he wants Batman to kill him.
And that's universal about the whole.
Because all the Joker wants is to win.
Yeah.
He wants to achieve his ideal, which is to make Batman break,
Yeah.
to break his code, to send him into the hell. And this is the thing about the villain. The villain tries to bring everyone they possibly can into hell with them.
Yeah.
And the Joker's main person he wants to bring to hell is Batman.
Yeah. That's great. And I love that too, because have you watched Daredevil?
Yeah.
You watched season 2?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
The Punisher?
Yeah.
Like, have you watched that scene on the roof?
Oh, it's perfect.
That's
dude.
a great scene.
It's perfect.
It's the same exact dynamic, right? Daredevil's like he says I believe in redemption,
Mm-hmm.
and the Punisher's like, I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill all these bastards.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
doing
Just
evil
mow
stuff.
everyone
Yeah,
down.
just mow everyone down. And Daredevil's like, he's Catholic too.
And even the thing about the Punisher, like, and me personally, I have so much empathy for him.
Yeah.
And like, is he a villain? No, but is he
He's
like
anti-hero.
can he get there? Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
Because he just goes on a rampage and kills whoever the hell he wants.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's like his family got killed. His
Yeah.
wife and his daughter got murdered.
Yeah.
And he's never dealt with his anger.
Yeah.
His anger rules him.
Thanks.
So that's why, like, you have so much sympathy for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. And I think putting these like kind of like deeper themes into like superhero media is great, because like, obviously whenever you're a little kid, superheroes are cool because like they're superheroes, they have powers and they look cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw this thing where it's like Tom Holland was like, why do you think Spider-Man is so popular? Well, because most kids' favorite colors are red and blue.
Yeah.
And he has both of them.
Yeah.
And that's true for him and Superman. But like, these bright colors and powers draw on a children's audience, and then as you get older, we grow up with these characters. You start realizing, okay, there's deeper levels to them.
Yeah.
And the deeper levels can appeal to an adult audience just as much as like the color stuff appeal to children.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, with having these characters be so and like into your personality when you're younger, growing up with them, you kind of have an attachment to these characters that whenever you find out what they're actually about, you want to take on want to take on the good qualities that they're about.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool too, because almost every hero has their own different struggle.
Yes.
Like Spider-Man's main thing is responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
The Flash and Superman's is hope. Batman's is justice.
Yep.
The Hulk is wrestling with your identity. Daredevil's is like wrestling with the monster inside of you.
Yeah.
And like having impulses to do bad but still wanting to do good.
Yeah.
And like there's so you do this for I could do this for damn near every hero in Marvel,
100%.
DC, Invincible. Invincible's a great show. You watch Invincible?
No, actually.
Invincible's a great show, because it's like Invincible's good because it puts all these themes in like a more realistic world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or like The Boys. Same with The Boys. Like, more real. Okay, even more realistic, because it takes a more pessimistic or like sarcastic idea to them.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily realistic. That's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think a lot of times people confuse optimism with being naive and being pessimistic with being wise.
Mm.
And I just think that's not true. Like, I think especially through this lens do I realize it's not true, because I watch characters like Superman, and I'm like, okay, like, he just does good things because he wants to do good things. And why is that not? Why can't that be real? Like, I feel like people are always like, if people had superpowers in real life, it wouldn't be like Marvel or DC. It'd be like The Boys, where people just like take advantage of that and use it for money or for control or power, which I feel like is true.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't believe that there's not people with pure souls that would just do good things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think to ignore that and think that that's not realistic, but people being evil is realistic, I just can't agree.
Yeah, and I just think there's plenty of examples in history, like, and not even necessarily saints. The entire saint tradition is all about heroes.
Yeah.
But even like Socrates, is all of his friends are telling him when he's on trial, like, you can flee to another city, you don't have to die, you don't have to stand up against like this tyrant and this tyranny of a city who's condemning you unjustly. And he's like, no, because I'm going to die and they're going to remember my death and they're going to change. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But he chooses to die. He has a family. All of his friends are telling him he can leave. He has an out, but he doesn't. He chooses to give his defense, and he knows he's going to die. And he accepts death voluntarily, and he embraces it, because he knows that it's by death that life comes. For the sake of society and for the sake of himself.
Yeah, it's a bar.
So
it's a bar. Yeah, no, I just think. Yeah, I think it's very true. That's why it's like it's a story of. I feel like that's a recurring theme even outside of superhero media, like just in general. Like,
yeah,
wanting to sacrifice yourself.
Yep.
For a greater cause. It's just it comes out everywhere.
Yeah.
I just think the biggest thing that resonates with me is, despite all the tragedy, like they still, especially characters that are like happy, like go lucky,
Mm-hmm.
like Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spider-Man is a great hero because like you said earlier, his parents are dead.
Mm-hmm.
First, before you even meet him, his parents are dead.
Yeah.
He lives with his aunt and uncle. His
Mm-hmm.
uncle dies.
Mm-hmm.
It's his fault. All right, and then but his uncle imparts, with great power comes with great responsibility, and because of that, he has the power now, and he was responsible for his uncle's death.
Yeah.
So now it puts him like everything that's bad that happens, at least in New York, like it's your fault.
Yeah.
So now he has almost to a fault where it's like he like degrades himself if he's not out there working.
Yeah.
And because of that, it cost him all of his relationships. All of his friends think he's kind of like a piece of shit. He's always like canceling on them.
Yeah.
And going and never is like there emotionally for them. But meanwhile, he's like the greatest hero in New York.
Yeah.
But they just
They have
can't
no
know.
idea.
They can't know.
And he can't tell
And
them.
he can't tell them because they put them all in danger.
Yeah, dude. That's good stuff.
It's crazy because
And
yeah, and that even more enforces like having power. Having power is a responsibility,
mm-hmm.
and it's like a burden. It's a curse.
Is.
Like in Spider-Man 1, he says, like, this is my gift, this is my curse.
Yeah.
Because like it's a curse.
Yeah.
And you can't he'll never live a normal life.
Yeah, that's why most people who are famous are like, if I can choose, I would go back.
Go back, yeah.
Yeah,
it's crazy because even still, that's an algorithm of power too, or power.
It is like, a power. It's influence.
Yeah, facts.
So, and I think like what I would say about that is the kind of like the archetypal story of a superhero is represented in Christ, because he goes up a hill voluntarily, so he treads upward.
Yeah.
So he has to engage in some serious activity and difficulty after he's been whipped and degraded, and he's received every malevolence from the people that he created. But he still chooses nonetheless, against and amidst all of that, to sacrifice himself for the sake of those people that hated him, and in some sense were hurling rocks at him.
Yeah.
And I think the superhero is the same, that they can have a cool and steady head and a steady will and a good heart, admits and trust that what they're doing is good, admits the entire society or other people hating them. But the fruits are reaped later. The seed is planted, and then later the fruits come.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
So
I think that's all about altruism. I think like the perfect word to describe superheroes is altruism.
Mm-hmm.
And altruism is, you didn't know, the unselfish concern for the well-being of others. It means acting to help someone else without expecting a reward, praise, or something in return. And that's what every hero has to have. And I think that's the biggest thing that they inspire in us.
Yep.
Because especially for them, they usually don't get paid for what they do.
No.
They get praise, but like it's nothing like practical, like material to help them like survive in everyday life, but they still gotta do it anyways.
Yep.
Like Peter Parker's broke. He's poor.
Yeah.
But he still goes out and like does what he does every single day.
Yeah.
When he could use that time, use his smarts to get a high paying job. He does, and he uses it to be Spider-Man because he has the power. And because of that, he has the responsibility of doing so. I think that imparts into us just like be a good person. And of course you can get into like what does being a good person mean. But I think we all have a general idea of like be a good person. We have a general idea of being a good person, like care for others and care for others and don't expect anything in return.
Yeah. And I think the effect for them is somewhat like, I think Marcus really said your actions echo in eternity.
Yeah.
So I think the eternal reward is their reward.
Yeah. But you can't see that.
Can't see that.
It's trust.
It's faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, I think that's good, man.
I bet.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So that was episode 3. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Honestly, I had more to say, but I feel like I wish I could have like put it into a more concise saying. But we're still learning how to do this thing.
Yeah.
So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any closing thoughts?
No, yeah. Thanks for listening. I hope it enlightens you and gets you to think more about these patterns that I've found throughout history.
If you haven't, go watch Spider-Man. Go watch Spider-Man.
I will.
And next time you watch a superhero movie, just think about how it's kind of deeper than you think it is, and the themes and the relevance that it's created for the other side. Oh, this is a crazy thing. One more thing I forgot. Superheroes are it's crazy how popular they are.
Yeah.
But they're popular for a reason, like I was saying earlier. But like the top 4 biggest opening weekends in cinema history are all superhero movies. They're all Marvel.
Mhm.
It's Avengers Endgame, Brand New Day, No Way Home, Infinity War.
Mm.
And like the fact that these characters that were created in like less than 100 years ago are doing this many numbers like
Mhm.
globally,
Mhm.
that just shows how like first of
Yeah.
all important
Yeah.
and how meaningful and how serious people take these
Yeah. It
characters.
speaks to something
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that has to mean something.
For sure.
So
You
that's
have anything to
that's
say?
that's my closing thought. So
Yeah.
yep. Yep. Until we see you guys, keep thinking, keep living, keep loving, and we'll see you guys next week.